Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another live video at Gadgets 360. And today we have a really exciting product for you, which we are not going to unbox for the first time because
Yeah.
we've already unboxed it. In case you've not been catching up with the news, Xiaomi has just launched its new
Sub brand.
sub brand for the enthusiast market, and it's debuted in India called Poco. And the first phone to launch from this brand is called the Poco F1. This is directly aimed at taking down the OnePlus 6, which was pretty evident, I think,
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
presentation and the
So in the
event.
keynote, I haven't seen like every comparison of the Poco F1 was made with the OnePlus when it comes to speed,
Yeah,
processing, everything else.
yeah.
So it looks like it's directly looking at OnePlus 6 as the main competitor. So we have already gone ahead and unboxed the phone.
I think
So
should we just start off
yeah,
with the pricing maybe?
yeah.
So just to give you an idea of why this phone is exciting, this is a Snapdragon 845 powered smartphone with the
So
starting.
you've got three variants. The
Yeah.
starting one is 6 GB of RAM and
Yeah,
64
6 GB
GB
of RAM, 64 GB of storage, Snapdragon 845
with liquid cooled.
with a liquid
Cooled
cooled,
Snapdragon 845. Yeah.
yeah, and the price starts at just 20,999 rupees, which
Yeah.
is ridiculous
Yeah.
if you ask me.
So it's actually cheaper than the Asus Zenfone 5G, which was the cheapest
Yeah, it's
Snapdragon
cheaper.
845 processor.
Exactly, it's the cheapest Snapdragon 845 powered smartphone at the moment. So
So let's talk about the Poco F1 first. Now there are three variants. The Poco F1 comes in 664,
yeah,
6128 and 8256 GB storage variants. The variant that we have here is the fourth variant that has a different back panel. Now
yeah,
this is called the Armored Edition because this is made out of real Kevlar. The other three variants have a polycarbonate back, and you have only three colors available, which is graphite black, Rosso red, and steel blue. So those are the three color variants that you get on the Poco
yeah.
F1.
So this is the top end variant, and even
Yeah.
this variant is under 30,000
So
rupees.
the
So
Armored Edition comes in at 29,999 rupees, which is seriously
insane. I mean, also for the specs, right? It's 8 gigs of RAM and 256
256
GB
GB
of
internal
storage,
storage. Yeah.
which is just crazy. So we obviously got questions pouring in. The first and a very obvious one is make a comparison with the OnePlus 6.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, Shanoy, you
yeah.
wanna?
So the phone has a 6.18-inch display,
Yeah,
and which makes the aspect ratio 18.7 is to 9.
yeah,
So it's not like 18.5 is to 9 like the
right.
Samsung Galaxy S9s.
Yeah,
It's not 19 is to 9 like the OnePlus 6.
yeah.
It's somewhere in between. Well, looking at this phone, the bezels are a little thicker compared to what we've seen on other phones with notches.
Yeah.
But apart from this, this and the OnePlus 6, both of them have Snapdragon 845 processors. Both have the same RAM and storage variants, 6 GB, 64. The cameras are a little different. This has a 12 megapixel primary camera and a 5 megapixel depth sensor,
Right.
whereas for the OnePlus 6, it gets a 16 megapixel main camera and a 20 megapixel depth
An
sensor.
overkill depth sensor, if
Yeah.
you ask me. But okay.
So, and so I think for comparison bit, we'll need to put the Poco F1
So
through
yeah,
all.
I guess what our viewers just want to get a sense of, since you've been using this for a few
Yeah.
days now and you've used the OnePlus 6 for a bit as
Yeah.
well. First impressions, what do you like about this compared to the OnePlus 6, and maybe what you don't like? Maybe I think that's what the
Okay.
viewers want to get a
Okay.
sense of, that, like,
So
more than the specs.
if
Yeah.
that's the case, when it comes to user, using the phone, the interface is quick
Right.
because it's a Snapdragon 845. It's as quick as you can get on any
Yeah.
other phone.
But it's still
It's
MIUI, right?
it's still MIUI. So what Xiaomi has done is with the Poco phone is that this phone runs on MIUI 9, so 9.6 to be precise, with a Poco theme on top. So what it does is the best way to describe the Poco theme would be that it's kind of a bridge between MIUI and stock Android. So the first difference is that it has an app drawer. So if you slide up from
Yeah.
the bottom, you have an app drawer. Now this hasn't been the case with MIUI. So you
Yeah.
have an app drawer right there, and even the notification,
Yes.
toggles and all
Yeah.
are a little different. They are closer to stock Android than they are to MIUI.
Right.
So using this one, it is fast. Liquid cooling, we'll need to put like a regular gaming. Like we need to keep changing, like keep running a lot of benchmarks to see how much of a difference that thing makes.
Right.
So apart from this, yeah, it's similar to OnePlus 6. The cameras I need to compare,
Right.
but one big difference is that the Poco phone has a big 4000 milliamp hour battery compared to,
Just reduce the
yeah,
brightness of it.
compared to the 3300 milliamp hour battery on the OnePlus 6.
Right.
Now this does not have, like, this does have fast charging compared to the dash charge, which is a 20-watt charger.
Yeah.
This thing has a quick Qualcomm quick charge 3 charger, which is 18 watts.
Right.
So roughly the same, like
Yeah.
18-watt, 20-watt charging capacities.
So I haven't been using this too much because I mean I know you've been testing this from what I can see is I've used the OnePlus 6 quite a bit when we did the comparison with the 5Z as well.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the design of the bezel. There's
Yeah.
like if you can see through the video, there's a pretty big chin at the
At the
bottom
bottom,
over
yeah.
here. So it's just an aesthetic thing more than anything. It's not really a deal breaker of any sorts. And apart from that, I really wish this phone had stock Android. Like,
Yeah.
like that was like just the one thing would have really completed it, in my opinion. It should have been part of the Android One program and should have had run stock Android. And they could have done that since this is not associated with their Mi series of phones, right? This is a completely
Yeah.
sub brand
Yeah.
which they want to start for the enthusiast crowd. And the enthusiast crowd, I'm guessing, would have wanted stock Android and
Yeah.
timely updates.
But
and everything.
I think that may have clashed with the A series that Xiaomi does, like the
True,
A1 and the
that
A2.
is
So
true.
that
Yeah.
could be the reason that they haven't gone down that
Yeah.
path. But apart from that, the phone has it does charge very quickly. We
Yeah.
did plug it in when we unboxed it, and it was able to charge very quickly with the supplied quick charger. So you do get a quick charger in the box, and the battery, that's 4000 milliamp hour, should be enough to
Yeah.
get you through the day.
So we've got actually a whole bunch, 3 more questions coming in. We'll just maybe get to
Let's
those.
take questions.
Yeah. So one viewer is asking, does it have an OLED display?
No, so this thing does not have an OLED display. It is an LCD display. Now, OLED display, I think the only one phone, like, when you're comparing it with the OnePlus 6 and
Yeah.
the Zenfone 5Z, only the OnePlus 6 has the OLED display, whereas even
At that
the
price,
yeah,
you mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So this does not
But
have
it's
an
not a
OLED
bad display by any means,
Yes.
right? It's an IPS panel. Colors look pretty good.
The colors are really, really good. It's not an OLED display, but the colors are good.
Okay, Jitendra is asking, it has a polycarbonate body, but all people, I'm not sure exactly
Yeah.
what. Is
Okay,
the
so I
question
think
here,
what he's
but-
trying to say is like it has a polycarbonate back,
Okay.
and people are still going to use cases. So what's the point of going?
Oh,
for a
use cases. I was
Yeah.
reading it as use cases. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
So polycarbonate is like it's a sturdy material.
Yeah.
And now we have the armored edition. So this is real Kevlar. So honestly, we won't be able to comment on how polycarbonate feels because
Yeah,
this is
we
a
don't
completely
have
different
the polycarbonate
material.
unit with us. Yeah.
But I think Xiaomi had the Mi 4i, which
Yeah.
was the other phone with a polycarbonate back.
Yes.
Now we have seen older Nokia phones which ran Windows.
Those were the most popular
yes.
ones which had
And people
famous
did
for
prefer,
polycarbonate backs. Yeah,
because
yeah.
those did look premium.
Right.
And so yeah, people do put a case on the phone, and Xiaomi actually ships a case in the box as well. So with the armored edition, I get the smoke case. So that's what most people will use.
Okay,
Right out of the
so
box.
a bunch of other questions. Bharat is asking, is this phone going to be sold via Flipkart's flash sale?
So Bharat, this phone is going to be online only. So I'm guessing it will be a Flipkart sale. Now
Yeah,
flash
and
sale or
it's
no?
going to be available through Flipkart and Me.com.
Yeah. So it will be an online only phone, but it will go on sale on August 29th.
Yeah, so they have not specified if it's flash sale, but I'm pretty sure it's going to sell out really soon. So
Yeah.
even though there's no registration required, you better,
Be online,
be
waiting
online
for a
and
device
yeah,
to
get-
claim it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So RK Tech Runner is asking, does the camera have OIS? Will it take better photos than the OnePlus 6 in low light? He's asking the camera does not have OIS.
Okay, so we need to test the camera out because we need to check how well it does when we are
But from the
recording
specs,
video.
do we know? Does it
No,
have OIS?
so
Or
from
did
the
they mention anything
no,
in the launch event?
No, they did not mention
Interesting.
much.
Okay, that's
During
something we can get back, but that
But
would be
talking about the
interesting.
cameras, it has a 12.2 megapixel primary sensor and a secondary 5 megapixel sensor. Now, the primary camera is a Sony sensor. It's an IMX 363 sensor,
Right.
which is the same as the Mi 8 and the Mi Mix 2S.
Interesting.
So it's using the same hardware, and so we are kind of curious to see how this performs.
Hmm. Okay. Joy Prakash is asking, is the camera better than the 5Z? Again, it's hard
Yeah.
to say because we've only been using it for a few days now. But we will. That's definitely on the cards. We will definitely be doing like a mini comparison with the OnePlus and the
Yeah.
Zenfone. So stay tuned for that. Let me see what else we have. Okay, so Jitendra is also asking, can you extract the Poco launcher? As
So, Nikhil, I've been watching the keynote and the Poco launcher. What Xiaomi says that it will be available on the Play Store from August 29th. So, if you
okay,
want the Poco launcher, you
okay,
can probably download it on your Android phone from the Play Store.
okay, interesting. RK Saini is asking, please tell us about sound quality. I think he means like audio quality of the speaker or
Okay, so the audio quality, what Xiaomi has been saying that it uses the same audio hardware that
right.
they have on the Mi A1 and the E2.
Okay.
So we have tested out the audio, and it was loud enough. Now I wouldn't want to
But is
do
there
it
anything
again.
special like a
No, so there's
Dolby enhancements or something?
it does have a PA, a power amplifier that they
Okay.
are using, and it has two of them, one in the earpiece and one for the downward firing speaker. Now the earpiece, it also kind of plays back your music or the audio
So
when
you
you're
have some stereo effect.
some stereo effect. It's
Yeah.
not like a true balanced stereo
Right.
because the downward firing speaker
It's
is a
obviously
lot more
louder.
powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it does kind of give you a stereo effect.
All right. I mean, I guess something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Nikhil is asking, is there an LED notification? I
Okay,
guess people still
so
want an LED
Nikhil,
notification.
yeah. So it seems that there is a notification, there is a light on the phone. So when you plug it in for charging, there's a tiny LED that kind of
It's at
glows
the
at
bottom
the
of the
bottom
phone.
of the phone.
Interesting.
So if I could quickly get the cable out and probably plug it in to show that. So we need to check if it also works as a notification LED for
Hmm.
all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, while you're doing that, let's just go through a couple of others. Dylan is asking, how's the build quality?
So, Dylan, we have the armored edition, which is made from real Kevlar, and it actually feels good. Now, it isn't slippery, and
It's a bit heavy though. I found
it
it a
is
bit
heavy,
heavy.
and I think it's primarily because of the bigger 4000 milliamp hour battery, because of which it is heavier.
Right.
But I actually like the feel, and the build quality on this armored edition is really nice. And you can also feel the texture when you run your fingers
It'll be
over the
interesting
back.
to see how the feel of the polycarbonate version is. Like,
Yes.
does it feel as
It could
solid and
probably be
rigid as
smoother.
this? Probably. We don't know
Yeah.
what the texture is like though. Yeah. Okay. Anurag is asking, is the rest of the UI same as MIUI?
So Anurag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anurag, with the launcher is a little different. As you can see, the launcher has an app drawer, and it looks a little different. Like the launcher also categorizes apps based and kind of reorders them based on the type of apps they are. You can also reorganize apps by color. So Xiaomi says that people search for icons based on the color they recollect. Like
Okay.
if you want to go to WhatsApp,
Right.
you look for a green icon.
Right. Right.
So they have this feature on the Poco launcher where they club all icons together, and that is one difference. Now, if you go into the settings menu, it looks a lot like a Xiaomi phone running MIUI. Like you have all
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
other settings,
Even the
like
layout of
yes,
everything, the way
yes,
they've broken down all the sub menus are very
are very
similar to
similar.
MIUI,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So also to answer Nikhil Rana's question, there is this tiny notification
Yeah.
LED
Hold it in the
that
front.
it kind of
You
glows
can
when
see the LED
it's
light.
charging. So it's a
Yeah.
tiny one. Now it also will give you notifications. Probably we'll need to test that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a tiny LED which lights up when you are charging the phone.
Okay, so Mahadikar is asking, should I go with the 64 GB variant or the 128 GB variant? Well,
So
I mean, I don't think there's any
I
real
honestly, I'll tell you,
difference.
get whichever you can. Like
Yeah, because at this point, I think these
availability,
are really going to sell like hotcakes, especially at that price. So whatever
pick
you
up
can grab
whichever.
or
Yeah.
whatever your budget permits, I think you could pick it up because apart from the storage and RAM, there's not going to be much difference
Difference. And
between the two, except
also,
maybe for the armored edition
yeah.
for the back. Yeah.
And the Armored Edition is only available in 8 GB RAM and 256 GB
Yeah.
variant. So, and apart from that, this has a hybrid SIM slot. So, even if you go in for a 64 GB variant and you want to increase storage, you have the option to pop in a micro SD card.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
expandable as
it is
well.
expandable as well. So, you can go in for the 64, and in case you are running short of
That's another
storage.
feature OnePlus like expandable storage.
Storage, yeah.
Cool. Okay, Gunita is asking, is it better photography compared to the OnePlus 6? Once
So,
again, yeah,
yeah.
we've only been using it for a couple of days. We've not had a chance to really do like a direct comparison with the OnePlus 6 or the 5Z, but we will definitely get to that. So stay tuned to Gadgets 360 for that. Let's see. Sainath is asking, what about Antutu Benchmark? Wow,
So,
benchmark
wow,
score.
mark score. So,
Okay.
before we did this live, there was this one a test that I did do with the phone on Antutu,
Okay.
and let me just fetch the score.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
okay.
So this was the score. It scored 2,65,274 in one of the tests that we did right before going live.
That's not bad. So is that's slightly lower than the Find X and the OnePlus 6, I would say?
Yeah, I would say it's on par. It's in the same range from what
Yeah,
I
but
can
again,
recollect.
it depends on how these chips. I mean, it's the same chip in all the phones, and even in the G7 Plus Think. But even on the G7 Plus Think, we didn't get that higher score, at least in the benchmarks,
Yeah.
compared to like a OnePlus 6. But in day to day, there's really not going. You're not going to tell. You're not going to be able to tell any difference. To
Yeah.
be very honest.
And also we've seen that these scores fluctuate a lot.
They fluctuate a lot, yeah. So
So
every
there's
run there is a difference. Yeah, there is. Okay, so Anurag is asking, other than the launcher, is there anything changed in MIUI?
So, Anurag, to be honest, it does feel like a MIUI phone with a Poco theme of sorts. So it's not really much different. Like you still get all the MIUI features. You have the community app. You also get dual apps and the second space thing.
Right.
And you can also go ahead and change the theme to the classic MIUI theme or the limitless theme that they recently introduced
Right,
with
right.
MIUI 9 phones. So it's pretty much like MIUI.
Okay, so we have a whole bunch of questions that are piling up, but before we get to that, we just maybe go through the prices once.
Yeah.
So you want to just say the
Yeah.
starting price and the
So
range of
this
prices?
is the Poco phone F1. Now there are three variants of it. You get 6 GB of RAM, and now all of them are powered by the Snapdragon 845 processor. You have three variants: 6 GB of RAM with 64 GB of internal storage. That is priced at 20,999 rupees. The second variant is the 6 GB RAM, 128 GB storage one with which is priced at 23,999. And the third variant has 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of internal storage.
Yeah.
That is priced at 28,999. Now there's a special version as well that is called the Armored Edition. Now this is only available with 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of internal storage, and it is priced at 29,999.
Cool. So let's just do a rapid fire because we have like a whole bunch of questions coming in. So let me see.
Yes.
Where. Yeah. So Ashutosh is asking, does it have any water resistance? Go.
No. So Ashutosh, no water resistance.
No water resistance.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, does it have Gorilla Glass? Swapnil is
So
asking.
Swapnil, this does have Gorilla Glass, Gorilla Glass 3 to be specific.
Okay. Suraj has a question about slow motion video recording, and he's saying, what is the frame rate?
I'll quickly go
highest
into
frame
the
rate you
camera
can
settings
record
and check. The highest is 4K. You can record at 4K.
HFR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so 1080p at 240 FPS.
Yeah, 1080p at 240 is the highest. Although technically, the chipset is capable of handling a much higher frame rates. The camera app doesn't have that yet, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Tanmay is asking, is the phone border or the frame also plastic?
The phone's
think he's
border, I
talking
think
about
it's
the
from the
size.
frame. Yeah.
I think that's metal or aluminium.
Yeah, it's very hard to say at the moment. It's probably polycarbonate. It can be polycarbonate because it's not feel like metal. But yeah, the
Interesting.
size will be like this is interesting. I think it won't be metal because the phone itself they've never mentioned metal on stage. The only thing
Right.
was a polycarbonate build.
Right.
So yeah, this pretty much
But
feels
it
like
feels quite sturdy and
Yeah.
rigid. Like there's no issue there. But okay. Next up is Deep is asking, there's no IR blaster. No, Deep.
No.
Unfortunately, there is no IR blaster.
probably
on
this is one of the few Xiaomi phones without an IR blaster.
Yeah, yeah. If you want an IR blaster, you'll probably have to go get the Redmi series, I guess. Yeah. Does it have NFC? Good question.
No
Johan
NFC.
is asking.
No NFC on it.
That's quite surprising,
I need
actually.
to
Like,
actually go ahead and
can
check
you just
that.
double
Yeah.
check that? Because it's. Huh, interesting. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Oh wait, it does.
Does it have?
NFC did show up on the search, but
Yeah,
there's no
so
option
when you
for NFC.
okay, it's weird. So when you do a little search in the settings app for NFC, you do get it does show you NFC, but when you actually tap on it, it's not there. Probably it's like a, I don't know, bug in the firmware or
Yeah.
something. Okay, but we'll get to that. Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to double check that.
No.
Abhishek is asking, does it feel snappier than the OnePlus 6?
Well, Snappier. Well, it's just been unboxed. Like it was unboxed a day or two ago,
Yeah.
and it's not loaded with a lot of apps. So yeah, like every phone that you get fresh out of the box, it does feel snappy.
And then again, even if, I mean, it would. I mean, I've used it for a bit. I mean, like considering it has 8 gigs of RAM,
and
I
has
don't
a
think
Snapdragon
there's.
845
Yeah, if it didn't
processor.
feel snappy, then there would be
There's
something terribly, seriously wrong.
what was
But
that?
yeah, it feels pretty fluid and almost as fluid, I would say, as
As
like
the
as
OnePlus.
Oxygen, maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Aman is asking, is it better than Honor Play? Because now I'm thinking of exchanging the Honor Play with the Poco F1.
Okay.
Damn. Okay.
Well, okay, Aman. So honestly, when you look at the Kirin 970, now we
Yeah.
know that the Kirin 970 is a slightly older processor. Now we
Right.
have seen it on older phones as well. Maybe probably the Honor 8 that it
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
with.
A bunch
So
of phones, in fact,
yeah,
the P20 Pro, the Nova 3.
yeah. So it's not as late, like cutting edge, as latest as the Snapdragon 845. So if you can, I would say just go ahead exchange it for a
Yeah,
Poco
because
F1.
another thing you'll benefit from the 845 is that it runs a lot cooler. Like the
Yeah.
one trait about the 970 that we've seen is
It
that it
does
heats
heat up
really quickly.
quickly. So yeah.
So
So and plus the advantage is that this thing has liquid cooling. So even if you
yeah,
are constantly playing games, now the thing we've seen is if you play say one round of PUBG, the phone barely gets hot. But when you keep going round after round, the phone starts heating exponentially. Now with
hmm.
liquid cooling, probably it will be under control.
Yeah, that's something
Like,
we'll have to test out
yeah.
though.
And also, what we've seen is as the temperature goes up, the performance drops. So
Right.
probably it'll give
So
the
there would be
F1 a
some.
better chance
Yeah,
of
there wouldn't
having
be that much of
consistent.
thermal throttling, I'm
Yeah.
guessing. Yeah, okay. Uh, Ankit is asking build compared to the 5G real quick.
Yeah. So build quality, polycarbonate versus glass is the 5G.
Yeah, glass
Yeah.
pack.
So I think the 5G is lighter. That is one thing for
Yeah,
sure. Now, when it comes to feel, well, I actually prefer the
the
armored.
soft
Yeah.
touch finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than the slippery 5G.
Yeah, okay. So the build, so to answer, I guess to answer your question, the build is pretty similar.
Yeah.
It all depends on if you prefer a glass back
Back
or
or
polycarbonate. Okay. Where can we buy the phone? Someone's asking.
so the phone will be available online. Flipkart would
Okay.
be the first place where it will go on sale on August 29th.
Okay. VJ is asking how long does it take basically to charge it from 0 to
To
100%?
100%.
Yeah.
So VJ, we need to test that because this has a massive 4000 milliamp hour battery. So we'll have to actually go ahead drain it completely.
We've not actually timed
Primed
yet.
it yet.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to check because it also gets Qualcomm Quick Charge 3 certified charger
Which
in the
is
box.
another question by Mohammed. Is it fast charger?
Yes,
He's
Mohammed, the
asking.
fast charger is in the box. Now this is the charger that you get in the box. And there's this tiny QC3 logo
I
on
don't
the
think.
top. Yeah, it
Yeah,
won't
it'll
be
be hard to
visible.
see through the video, but
Yeah,
it is
but
Qualcomm Quick
yeah,
Charge 3
it is a
compatible,
Qualcomm Quick Charge
basically.
3 charger.
Yeah.
It's an 18-watt charger.
Okay. Sahil is asking, does the phone have dual VoLTE support?
Yes, Sahil, the phone has dual 4G and VoLTE support.
Okay. 1 second. And okay. What about the battery capacity? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, the battery capacity is 4000 milliamp hour. So it's quite a big battery.
Okay. Next up is, can it handle PUBG Mobile on high graphics?
This is a question by Gunita. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Gunita, sorry.
we'll need to test that out. We are actually looking forward to play PUBG on the Poco
You
F1.
are looking forward
I'm,
to
I'm
it.
looking forward to play PUBG on the Poco
Yeah.
F1.
Okay. Ashutosh is asking, is the notch too wide? Does it look ugly? Interesting question.
Yeah, so the notch is wider and thicker than what we've seen
But
on
it's
other
not
phones.
as thick as some of those leaked images
Pixel
of the
3.
Pixel 3.
Yeah.
It's not as deep,
Yeah.
but it looks a lot like the iPhone 10. Like the notch is very similar to the iPhone 10,
Yeah.
I would say.
So I think even if you've seen the Xiaomi Mi 8, I think this is quite similar to that.
Yeah, it doesn't look ugly. I mean, but again, it's personal taste.
Yeah,
So.
but one more thing I'd like to point out is that the notch has the 20 megapixel selfie camera. It has an IR camera and an IR emitter, which is used for
Yes,
face unlock.
yes.
So the phone has face unlock capabilities, and
Okay.
it does not use the selfie camera, but it has a dedicated IR camera for it.
Okay, interesting. Dylan is asking, does it have any AI features
For the camera?
for the camera app?
Okay, so Dylan, it does have AI features in the camera. As you can see, this tiny AI logo that kind of lights up, and it also changes when it detects. So I think it's currently showing a person. So when you point it at different things, it will change and kind of apply effects
Right.
so that to enhance the image.
Yeah, so it does. It we did try it out, and it did detect like plants
Like
and a
even
person's
now,
face, and it
as you can
basically the
see,
logo changes.
yeah.
There's
So you
nothing
can
in the
yeah.
viewfinder. It's just this logo on the top
Yeah,
which
I'll
changes.
just
The
show you.
icon changes
Yeah,
essentially.
it's just gone back from AI and now it will show you the person. So this is how the AI kind of works.
Okay. Sahil is asking, will the price increase in the second sale? I think he means when in the second
Yeah,
sale.
will it increase? Now Sahil, I think our guess is as good as yours, but there's
Yeah,
no news from Xiaomi, but it's
but they did make a point to state that, despite the changing economic fluctuations in the
they
rupee
will.
value and everything, they've still managed to bring this at a very aggressive price. So my gut feeling is that they
They
will stick to this
yeah
no matter the economic climate,
yeah.
whatever it
So
is.
it
So
does not look like the
yeah,
price is going to increase.
yeah. Any heating issues because polycarbonate finish? Aditya is asking.
Okay, so Aditya, heating issues haven't faced it yet, but I will need to play a lot of games on it,
Yeah,
and probably
I'm
that
sure you're
after
looking forward
yeah
to that.
after that I'll comment if it does heat or not. You'll need to stay tuned for the full review.
Yeah. Okay. Universal
Is
T is
asking
asking about Android updates, and
okay.
I think he's asking about the frequency of Android updates.
Okay, so updates on this thing. Now, this phone currently runs on Android 8.1 Oreo and it is running with MIUI 9.6 on top. Now, Xiaomi says that it will update the Poco F1 to MIUI 10 when it
Okay.
becomes available,
Okay.
and they have given a timeline of quarter 4 2018 for
Right.
Android Pie. So, they will be updating the Poco phone as soon as possible, but the timeline they've given is Q4
I mean,
2018.
that's not bad because I think that's when most phones are gonna get it anyways, right? The Pixels are gonna come around October.
Yeah.
So I think most of the other OEM partners will also be rolling out their Android Pie updates around that
So,
time.
yeah.
So it's gonna be in line with OnePlus and all the others. Yeah.
Also, I think the custom scene will be releasing kernel code for developers to
Okay.
Android Pie.
Interesting. All right. Okay, I can't pronounce his name, but okay.
If
A viewer is asking Poco F1 versus Honor Play on
on paper,
paper. I think hands down
yeah,
the
it's the
Poco
Poco
phone. I mean,
F1.
it's a no-brainer. It
Yeah.
definitely has much better specs than the Honor Play. Okay. Next up, is there FM radio? Sachin is asking.
So Sachin, it does have the FM radio app. Now this comes in built, and you will need to
You need the headset, I guess.
yeah, you'll need a
Right.
headset with it. Now this is the FM radio app. You'll need the headset with it,
Do you get a
and
headset in the
no, you
box?
don't get
Okay, you don't get a headset
typical
in the
Xiaomi
box.
fashion. You
You
don't
don't get
get
a headset in the
the
box.
box.
Okay. Is there 3.5 millimeter audio jack? Yes, there
It does
is.
have a
Akshat,
3.5
there
mm
is a headphone socket.
at the top.
Shitiz is asking which version is worth it, the 6 GB or the 8 GB version?
Well,
That's
honestly, more RAM is better. Because
yeah,
we've seen like PUBG requires a lot of no, not PUBG, Fortnite.
right.
They require like the more resources you have, the better.
But that's like one game, right?
Yeah, but again, like 8 GB of RAM, you can probably have a lot of apps in memory. Like if you are constantly switching between apps, the 6 GB RAM will start killing apps in the background
Hmm.
faster than the 8 GB RAM version. So basically, for the price, 20,999 versus 24, there's a 4,000 rupee difference for 2 GB of RAM. So
And
if
storage.
and storage as well.
Yeah.
So think about it. If you kind of see value in going for the higher spec, go. Otherwise, you'll be
Yeah,
fine with
because even if
660.
you do spend that extra bit of money for the RAM, you're not only getting more RAM, you're also getting double the internal storage. So it kind of makes sense, I
Yeah.
guess, to spring for the 120 GB version. Yeah. Let's just go through, just mention maybe the flash sale days. I think people
So
want
flash
to know
sale, the
about.
first one will go on August 29th. Now that
Yeah,
is like
August
1 week
29th.
from now.
Yeah.
That is when the first sale for the Poco F1 will take place.
Yeah, and then I'm guessing once that sale is over, we will get to know
The
when the
next
next sale
date,
is.
yeah.
If they run out of units,
Which
which I'm sure they will.
they will.
Yeah. Atano is asking, tell me about the display. Well, I mean, what do
Okay.
you want to know about the display? I
So
guess
yeah, so
general
about the
specs, I guess.
display,
Yeah.
general specification wise, this is a 6.18-inch display. Now this has an 18.7:9 aspect ratio. There is Corning Gorilla Glass
18.7.
18.7:9. Yeah, 18.7:9 aspect ratio. Now this does have Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on top for protection,
And resolution.
and the resolution is Full HD plus.
Full HD plus.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So you do have options to tweak, the contrast and everything else. You have the minor settings like set the color temperature and all of that. If
Right.
that's what you're
Also,
asking.
Pankaj has a question about expandable memory. Yes, Pankaj, the Poco F1 is expandable. You do get a micro SD card slot.
Yeah.
Let's just pop it. Is it? I just want to see if
Yeah.
it's a hybrid slot or do you get like a
No. So
dedicated?
this is a hybrid slot. Let me just quickly.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Got a SIM card in it already.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so
this
it's a hybrid SIM slot.
is a hybrid SIM slot. So you have the nano plus micro slash nano slot options there. So you can either use two nano SIM cards and or you use one nano with one micro SD
Yeah.
card. Now this does support dual 4G, so you will be able to latch on to 4G networks on
Right.
both SIMs.
Right. Okay. Ruchit is asking, what's the Android security patch? As in, like, which month?
So okay, from what I remember, the last I checked, it was a July security patch. I'll
Okay.
just quickly check again.
Yeah, we'll just check that. And meanwhile, we've just got a couple of more questions. The Silly Cap Gaming is asking, do a game test, please. We will do that, the Silly Cap Gaming. Probably not on live video, but we will definitely do that and maybe try and get you a separate video on that. Shiva Tejan is asking, is it a trustable brand?
Wow.
I mean, yeah, Xiaomi has been. I mean, there's a reason why it's a hugely popular brand, and they've got really good products over the years, and they've managed to also, redefine certain mass segments, like especially the mainstream and the
Budget
budget
segment.
segment, because uh, prior to the Redmi series coming in, we didn't really have that level of specifications and the power in smartphones at that price. So they really sort of upped the bar over there, and I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the last question about the security patch, this has the June security patch. So 1/6/2018 is what it's showing. So yeah, in terms of security updates, well, there's no communication when it comes to security updates.
Okay,
But
I'm
yeah,
sure. I mean, the updates would come in
yeah,
since this is again catering to the enthusiast crowd. They would have more focus on this
on this.
phone, especially when it comes to updates. So Madhur is asking, how's the quality of the loudspeaker?
So, Mother, the quality of it is loud enough, but it's not as loud as the LG G7 Plus
Oh
Think.
yeah, okay.
So we've recently reviewed the LG G7 Plus Think. If you haven't checked the review out, do check it out on our YouTube channel and do read it on the site. So it's not as loud, but it is good, and it also has like a stereo kind of output because it also uses the earpiece to direct sound. So yeah, the audio quality is good out of it.
So similar like the S9 basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Kirti is asking, what is liquid cooling technology and how is it useful?
So you want to take that or?
Yeah, I'll take that.
So,
So, Kirti, so liquid cooling is basically a method to cool the CPU where it involves actually having like a small chamber with liquid inside. So the liquid is basically on the CPU. As the CPU heats up when you're playing a game, the liquid evaporates, goes into another part of the chamber where it cools down, turns into liquid again, and comes back in sort of a loop fashion.
yeah.
So the advantage to that is that it helps cool down the CPU a lot better. It's much more
Yeah.
effective rather than just having like a copper heat sink or a metal plate on
On
top
top
to
of
transfer heat away from the CPU.
Now, what it also helps is that it prevents the CPU from throttling when it gets hot.
Yeah.
Now, on the Poco phone, this is where the processor is roughly located, and it has a copper pipe from here all the way up to here. So, what happens is the moment it starts heating up, the liquid inside it cools
Yeah.
the CPU, turns into vapor, and comes down somewhere over here and cools back into a liquid again.
Yeah.
So, that is how liquid cooling kind of works.
Yeah, and the same liquid basically it just flows through a loop in that way, in
Yeah.
that fashion. Yeah. So that is basically it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've got a whole bunch of questions. I mean, but I think there's
Yeah,
most
we're
of them
pretty
are
much running
similar.
out of. Yeah.
But
So-
I think we can just wrap it up by maybe talking about the main specs, the price, and when it's available.
Okay,
and
so
what this is actually
let's
for those who are
run
just joining
everyone
us.
through the Poco phone again. Now, this is the Poco F1. Poco is a sub brand of Xiaomi. Now, the phone is powered by a Snapdragon 845 processor and comes in three variants, one with 6 GB of RAM and 64 GB of internal storage, and that's priced at 20,999. The second with 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of internal storage. That is priced at 23,999. The third with 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of internal storage. That is priced at 28,999.
Yeah.
It's available in four different variants, four different color variants. One of it is Rosso Red, Steel Blue, Graphite Black, and there's a special variant that's called the Armored Edition, which is made out of Kevlar. And this variant is only available in uh, 8 GB RAM, 256 GB internal storage option, and it is priced a little higher at 29,999 rupees.
Okay. And this will be. Did we mention the dates? Sorry.
So
It's the sale date.
the phones will go on sale on August 29th via Flipkart, and this will
And
be an
me.com.
online. Yeah, so Flipkart and me.com is where they will be on sale. So
And it's an online exclusive, so you'll only be able to pick it up from these websites.
and looking at the specs and the price, I think it will sell out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to sell out. So, I mean, yeah, so thanks for those who have tuned in. This was our quick sort of first look at the Poco F1, Xiaomi's latest enthusiast grade phone at a crazy, crazy price.
Yeah.
So, we will be testing this, bringing you the full review pretty soon, and stay tuned for watching. And thanks for all those who tuned in.